right, we're here at Concept 13. I'm gonna pick out the slab for the dining table today. I'm excited about this. Come on in, I'm gonna show you around this place. If you're a woodworker, into woodworking, into fine furniture, you're gonna wanna see this. So come on, let's go check it out. If you're a woodworker, if you enjoy woodworking, check this place out. They've got everything. They have an online shop. You can get most of it online. All the woodworking supplies you need. Epoxy forms if you do epoxy work. Epoxy, small wood, big wood. But here's what I'm interested in. I'm gonna go have a look at these big slabs and see if there's something here that I like for my table. Okay, there's a lot of beauties here. Look at these, gorgeous stuff. But I found my slab. Look at this. Look at what I'm gonna make my dining table from. This is beautiful. It's white oak, single slab. That's it. I found my dining table. This is gonna look beautiful. I just gotta get this in my truck now and get it home and start working on it. Man, gorgeous. Okay, the slab is here. I can get started working on it. I'm very excited about this one. Actually, I already did get started working on it. I cut about a 3-foot piece off of the far side there. It's a beautiful 9-foot slab. Unfortunately, because of the size of the cottage, all I can really fit in there comfortably is about a 6-foot dining table. But not to worry, that 3-foot offcut's not gonna go to waste. I already have a great idea for it for a future project. For now, we're going to continue with this table. I'm going to cut a little bit more off of this end to get me pretty close to my final 6-foot dimension. I may have to trim a little bit more off as we proceed, but for now I'm going to get pretty close to that because I need to also then clean out these cracks, get them all nice and cleaned up, and get the table ready to fill them with some resin. So let's do that. Come on, let's do it. All right, slab is cut to size. I went ahead, I cleaned out all of the larger cracks and the smaller cracks. When you're filling with epoxy, you want to get all those cracks and voids as clean as possible so you don't have any loose material in there that can affect the way the epoxy is going to adhere to the wood. Now, having said that, there is a little trick I picked up along the way over the years. When you're filling with epoxy, especially in woods that are porous or that have a lot of open pores like white oak does, epoxy will soak in and it has the tendency to leave a stain on the surface of the wood that's very difficult to get out, even with sanding. So here's what I've picked up over time. You want to use either a shellac or even a polyurethane. I'm using this Varathane triple thick, and you coat over the area where you'll be pouring your epoxy, and that creates pretty much a barrier that the epoxy cannot soak through. So it's going to get into your cracks, fill them up, make everything nice and flush, but when you go to sand away the excess, you're not going to be left with a stain on the surface of your wood that is going to be there even when you finish it. Whatever oil you use or polyurethane, you're always going to have that stain left. You do a little bit of this beforehand, it takes a few extra minutes, but it's going to give you a much nicer finish with that epoxy, and it's going to leave your grain intact, no stains, no blemishes. So I'm going to go ahead, do that now. I'm going to put my polyurethane on there. I'm going to wait for it to dry, and then I'm going to tape up the bottom side, flip it over, and we're going to do the same thing on the top before we go ahead with a pour. So let's do that. right, the epoxy is all poured. We gave it some time to harden up. We can get on to sanding this thing now, get it all nice and flush and flat, make it nice and smooth, seal it up. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's do the sanding first, and then we'll get there. I got another table back there now, which is why this one's here. Sometimes there's more than one table in here. Sometimes there's no tables in here. Why am I rambling? Let's get this thing sanded. All right, so we've got our table sanded nice and smooth. Now, I almost forgot to show you this step. I've already done one side. I had started working on the other side. Remember that this is an important step to show you. Anytime you're working with live edge slabs, especially something like this that's a single slab, you always want to prevent the table from eventually over time cupping or warping, and the best way to try and do that is by using these C-channels. I picked these up at Concept 13, same place I picked up the slab, and you just route out a couple slots, slide the C-channel in, bolt it down, and that'll help keep the table from wanting to cup over time. So I've already set up here, straight edge. I'm using my trusty DeWalt level that works as a great straight edge. My router with a 1/4 inch straight bit, and I'm just routing out those slots so that C-channel fits in really nicely, and we can bolt it in before I go ahead and seal this thing up. Bottom side anyway. So let's do that. I'll show you that right now. Have a look at this. Okay, so let's get the finish applied to this tabletop, get it all done, ready to add the legs. Now, me being me, of course, I went and did the first step and forgot to film it in a rush. It's done. It's too late, but I'll tell you what I did. So when it comes to finishing products, we all know there's a bunch of them. At the end of the day, they're all good. They all get the job done. This is my favorite combination. This is what I like to do with most of my tabletops and a lot of the furniture I finish. This is coffee. This is not part of the finish. Don't pour coffee on your furniture. But here's what I do. First step, and this is the one I did yesterday, forgot to record it, is I do a couple coats of tung oil. This really brings out the beautiful color in the wood and in the grain. I give that 24 hours to dry, and once that's done, I go over top of that with a couple coats of this triple thick varathane polyurethane. It gives great color to the piece, and it gives great protection to the piece, and it just finishes so nicely. All right, this table is looking so good. Let's get these C-channels installed. We'll get our legs installed. And then all that's going to be left is to get this thing up to the cottage and put it in place and start enjoying it. So let's do that. Let's get these C-channels installed right now. C-channels are in. They're going to hold this table really nice and tight. And now it's time for the legs. For legs, I decided to go with these metal trapezoid legs. Picked these up also at Concept 13, just like the slab and the C-channels. And actually all the Rampa inserts and bolts as well. All of it from Concept 13. One-stop shop. You should check them out for sure. I love that place. But let's get to these legs. Let's get them installed, and like I said, let's get this thing up there so we can have a nice dinner, barbecue, burger, or a hot dog, or steak, sausage. Man, I'm hungry. All right, look at that. Legs are on. This thing is ready to go up to the cottage. So let's get the legs back off so it's easier to transport. Wrap it up in some moving blankets and get this thing up there. Not today though, because it's too heavy to move by myself. So I got to wait for help. But help is coming in a few days, and we're going to get this thing up there, and we'll do the final reveal. Stick around. Stick around. It's going to be, this is a YouTube video. It's a few days for me, but it's going to be like 5 seconds for you. Boom, you see, I told you, 5 seconds, that's all it took. Table's here, we got it in. Look how good it looks, fits the space perfectly. That's it, I couldn't be happier with this table. Now it's time to get the chairs back in place and have some meals at this table and enjoy it. Looks so good. Anyway, that's it, hope you enjoyed it. Be back next time with yet another project. Stay tuned for that, I'll see you next time.